Did the Dallas Cowboys in the 2021 draft operate with not one, but two big boards, two draft boards? Mike Fisher reporting from Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys, trying to stay dry in the rain today. If you recall our draft night coverage after the selection of Micah Parsons, the linebacker, and which, by the way, can work out just fine, be terrific. We, in one column, wrapped up two concepts that had us a little bit confounded. One of them was that we knew for a fact that the Cowboys contemplated inside the building and maybe even touched base with the Miami Dolphins about moving up to pick number 6. Why? In pursuit of a cornerback. Patrick Surtain, maybe in this order, Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. One or the other. We think Surtain over Horn. Separate from that, separate from the investigation of moving up to get a cornerback in the draft. Remember, the Cowboys started that draft process that night in the number 10 spot. We also were later told that Micah Parsons was the number 1 defensive player on their board. And I got verification time and time and time again that night and then the next day that that was true. I probably should have just believed Jerry in the first place when he told us on live coverage of the press conference after the pick of Micah, when Jerry said, "Fish, for $1,000, I'll take you down the hall and show you the board. I will basically bet you $1,000 that I'm telling the truth, that Micah Parsons was the number 1 defensive player on the board." Then how could it be that Micah's number 1 on the board, but they wanted to pursue the cornerback in a way that they did not pursue Micah? They moved back for Micah. They would have moved up for the cornerback. I think both stories are true because I think the Cowboys, in a sense, operated with not one, but 2 draft boards. I believe that their official draft board really did have Micah Parsons up on it as the number 1 defender in their ranking of all the players. That they ranked him as, quote, a better NFL player than the cornerbacks. That was up in writing on the board. But in their heads, they wanted a cornerback more. Now, our friend Brian Broaddus will call this window dressing the board. And it does seem like a bad idea. If you wouldn't really take Micah Parsons 6 overall, then why should you put him 6 on your board overall? Although the Cowboys have done this before, and other teams have done it too. And our working theory that we've kind of come very close to establishing as fact is that that's what the Cowboys did here. They had a real board written down in pen, ink, and computer, and then they had a board in their heads, a board of desires, a board that mixed in needs in addition to the talent of the players. So there's what we believe is the true story. We think we had it right that night. We've come pretty close to kind of verifying it now. And now that Micah Parsons looks like he's going to be a fine NFL player, maybe it's less controversial than ever, although we will continue to monitor, I bet you, for the next 4, 5, 10 years, the play of Surtain in the NFL, the play of Horn in the NFL, and the play of Parsons in the NFL. The Cowboys had their board physically, and then they had their board mentally. They thought Micah Parsons was way up here as a player, but the players they wanted might have been a little lower on the board, or maybe only a little lower, but desired them even more. Thus the exploration of moving up to 6, thus the result of moving back from 10, and thus what I think is something that is somewhere between controversial and kooky. Did the Cowboys show mental gymnastic flexibility here? Or is it kind of sloppy to build a board and then not use it? Is it kind of sloppy to, in a sense, have 2 NFL draft night big boards? I'll let you decide. Fish.